If you have a friend who struggles with women and you want to help him learn how to attract them but you're unsure which video to start with, send him this one. In this video, I'll explain the foundation of attraction and reveal the core concept around which everything revolves: how to attract girls without trying. Let me introduce what I call the invisible magnet principle. Most men believe attraction comes from chasing harder, saying the right things, or constantly proving themselves. But the truth is, the harder you try, the weaker you appear. The moment you start pushing, you've already begun to lose. Here's the secret. The strongest magnet is invisible. Think about it. The sun doesn't beg the planets to orbit. It simply shines, and everything is drawn in. High-value men operate the same way. They don't need to chase. Their presence alone does the work. Women become curious. Why isn't he like the others? Why isn't he chasing me? That curiosity turns into attraction. The invisible magnet principle is simple. The less effort you show, the more effort she invests. When you don't bend, she feels the urge to reach. When you don't overgive, she feels the gap. And that gap becomes her obsession. Why does it work? Because women are surrounded by men who broadcast neediness, men who text too fast, laugh too hard, or stare too long. The average guy gives out attention like free candy. And what happens to free candy? We don't value it, but when attention feels rare, when it's earned, not handed out, it becomes gold. That's when she starts thinking about you late at night, replaying every little thing you said, precisely because you didn't give her the certainty she's used to. The invisible magnet principle isn't about doing more. It's about doing less, but making it mean more. Your silence carries more weight than another man's compliments. Your detachment feels stronger than another man's obsession. And here's the key. Once she feels pulled by your invisible magnet, she can't explain why, she just feels it. And when a woman can't explain her feelings, she follows them even harder. That's why men who don't try often win over those who bend their backs, proving themselves, because real power is never loud. Power doesn't chase, it attracts. Before we move on to how to apply this in practice, how to deal with a girl and attract her naturally, let's break down the second concept in this video: cognitive dissonance attraction. The human brain hates contradictions. It can't stand holding two opposing truths at once. That tension creates emotional energy, and that tension, my friend, is powerful. Women become addicted when you deliberately create small contradictions in how they perceive you. Not big, obvious ones that make you seem unstable. I'm talking about subtle cracks that keep her guessing. One moment you give her approval, smiling, listening closely, leaning in. Then, just when she feels comfortable, you drop a little challenge. You're fun to talk to, but I'm not sure you could keep up with me for a weekend. Bang, approval plus doubt. Her brain can't neatly categorize you anymore. Or consider presence versus detachment. You're fully engaged, giving her eye contact, making her feel seen, and then mid-conversation, you lean back, glance around the room just enough for her to feel that tiny withdrawal. That small moment of uncertainty unsettles her, and that's exactly where attraction deepens. She feels both wanted and dismissed at the same time, and that clash is what we call dissonance. Here's the hook. Unresolved tension keeps her hooked. Her mind begins to spin with questions. Does he like me or not? Am I winning or losing? Am I good enough for him or not? Every time she tries to answer, she finds another contradiction, and instead of walking away, she invests even more emotional energy trying to figure you out. That's why contradictions are stronger than compliments. A compliment closes the loop. It says, "This is what I think of you," and that's the end of it. But a contradiction leaves the loop open, and the human brain hates open loops. It keeps running in circles, searching for resolution, and in this case, resolution means she keeps thinking about you. Cognitive dissonance attraction is all about mixing signals on purpose, giving warmth, then chill, approval, then challenge, engagement, then withdrawal. Each contrast plants a question she can't answer, and the longer that question remains unresolved, the deeper she falls into your frame. Now that you understand these two principles, let's talk about how to apply them in practice, how to attract women without trying. Most men attempt to impress women by giving direct commands such as "text me later," "we should hang out," or "you'll like me." The problem is that once it's obvious, the spell is broken. Women resist direct orders. They can see them coming from a mile away. After watching this video, I don't want you to keep doing that. I want you to learn how to slip your commands naturally into ordinary conversation so they bypass her conscious filters and reach her subconscious, the place where decisions are truly made. Here's how it works. Instead of saying, "You should want to see me again," you might say, "The funny thing about energy like this is that it usually makes people imagine seeing each other again before the night's even over." Catch, you didn't tell her to do anything directly. You simply described a general truth, and her brain applies that truth to herself without realizing it. That's an embedded command. Another example is to replace "text me later" with most people, after a conversation this fun, just can't help wanting to text later. Notice the pattern. You frame it as something most people do. You present it as a natural outcome, not a request. You hide the action you want. Texting, seeing you, wanting more, right in the middle of the sentence so it slides through effortlessly. This is the beauty of embedded commands. They allow you to plant attraction triggers without chasing, without proving yourself, and without pressure. It becomes casual conversation that programs her subconscious to associate you with curiosity, comfort, and desire. You never tell her why she likes you. You make her tell herself. People don't fall in love with your reasons, they fall in love with their own. The moment she begins explaining her behavior in your favor, the game is over, because the brain defends what it says out loud. Picture this. Her friends are leaving, but she lingers. You don't pounce, you simply glance at the door, then back at her, and smile. "Funny, you're still here. I'm curious. What made you choose to stay?" Now her mind scrambles to find an answer, but while she searches for logic, her emotions have already decided for her. "I don't know, I just like talking to you." That sentence is the trap closing. She didn't agree with you, she agreed with herself. And people protect their own conclusions like territory. Small choices are your fuel. You keep offering clean exits, so every time she decides to stay, it's clearly her decision. You might say, "You can catch up with them if you want. I'm going to grab some water." If she stays, you simply label the choice lightly. Look at you choosing to stay. No pressure. Just a mirror. She supplies the reason. "I wanted to." Perfect. Now her story becomes, "I stayed because I wanted to." Desire attached to identity is stronger than any compliment you could ever give. You see attraction by noticing what she's already doing and giving it meaning. She leans in. You don't usually lean in like that unless you're curious. She texts first. "You must have missed this." She laughs too long. That laugh says you're enjoying yourself more than you planned. Each line is gentle framing. She fills in the blanks with her own reasons, and every why becomes a brick in the story she's building about you. Why does this work? Commitment and consistency. Once we state a reason, we naturally align our actions to match it, and we hate contradicting ourselves. If she says, "I like how calm you are," she'll keep looking for proof that you're calm. If she says, "I feel safe with you," her brain will start filtering out moments that don't fit and reinforcing the ones that do. Her mind edits reality to protect her statement. The timing matters. You don't ask for declarations, you catch micro-commitments as they happen. When she asks a personal question, you tease lightly. "Interesting, people only ask me that when they're invested." When she mirrors your posture, you smirk and say, "Careful, that's how people end up liking me," without meaning to. It's delivered playfully, then you move on. No selling, no push. Let her mind chase the echo. Avoid telling her what she feels. Invite her to name it. Saying "you're into me" triggers resistance. Framing it as "something made you relax around me faster than usual. What do you think it is?" slips right past her defenses. It works because it respects her autonomy. She chooses the label, so she believes the label. The trap is simple. Create choice. Spotlight the choice. Make her explain the choice. You stay hands-off, always giving her an open door. Attraction grows when she keeps walking back in, and then has to justify why. Each justification glues her tighter to you. There's one rule: never pressure. Pressure steals her story. Freedom writes it. When she feels free and still chooses you, she must explain that freedom to herself, and her own explanation becomes the feeling she can't shake. And if you want the full playbook, the psychological patterns, the exact phrases, and the step-by-step system to flip the chase without ever appearing needy, that's what I teach inside my course. The Attraction Algorithm. The link is in the description. And I know that since the beginning of this video, I've been talking a lot, and maybe it's felt like a lot to take in. So let me sum it up for you in less than 2 minutes. Walk calm. No flexing. No chasing attention. Just steady energy. Hold eye contact for a second. Then let it go. Now she's curious. When she talks, actually listen. Be present. And then drop a playful tease. "You're easy to talk to. Not sure you'd survive a weekend with me." Boom. Nice plus challenge. Her brain can't label you, and that's attractive. Don't sell plans. Plant the idea. Energy like this usually makes people imagine hanging out again. You didn't tell her to do anything. Her mind did the work. Always keep her free. Say something like, "If you want to catch your friends, go ahead. I'm just grabbing some water." If she stays, you simply smile and say, "Look at you choosing to stay." No pressure, just a mirror. When she explains why she stayed, it becomes her decision. Then you leave before it drags. "I'm heading out. Let's pick this up later." No begging, no clinging, no long goodbyes. You let the tension breathe. And that's what keeps her thinking about you long after you've gone. When you text, do it like a man who's busy, short, clear, and always on your time. Warmth, then space. That rhythm pulls her in. Soon she's the one leaning forward, suggesting times, making the effort. The roles flip naturally. Her ego becomes involved. She's used to being chased, but now she's doing the chasing. Her mind starts building the reasons. "I like his calm. I feel good around him. I want to see where this goes." Every reason she invents tightens the pull. Stay in your frame. No over-explaining, no big promises. Keep a steady posture, focused attention, and simple boundaries. Mystery isn't about hiding. It's about restraint. Share a little, but leave the edges blank. That's what keeps her guessing. Here's how it all clicks together. Your calm creates curiosity. Your tease builds tension. Your words slip under the radar. Her choices write her story. Your timing makes you rare instead of needy. And just like that, the chase flips. Her pride starts to invest. Your quiet power holds, and you never force it. You simply make space, and she chooses it twice. Each time she justifies it to herself, and that justification becomes the bond that sticks, because it came from her side. That's the secret. You don't chase, you attract. You don't persuade, you create space for her to step in. And once she does, she'll defend that choice as her own. See you in the next one.